Today I'm going to show you how to build a trellis system in under 5 minutes. So I'm going to show you a lot about trellising today. We have a couple different kinds of vegetables that we're going to be trellising, but if you're new to the channel, my name is Josh Satin of Satin Hill Farm, and we have an 1/8 of an acre market garden. We live on a 2-acre suburban lot. We're also doing rotationally grazed pastured chickens for eggs, and this channel is all about market gardening and chickens and all sorts of cool stuff. So if you want to see more stuff like this, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and you'll see a lot more of that coming up. Anyways, let's get back to trellising here. We're doing a couple different kinds of plants that require trellising, and I want to show you a couple easy ways to do them, not just in terms of stuff that you have to buy to do it, but just super easy. And one other thing I really like to promote for farming and gardening in general is having things being portable is huge. You often change your mind after the first few months or first season or two, and you're like, oh, I want this somewhere else, or I want to do raised beds, or I don't want to do raised beds. So having the ability to move things around is crucial, and trying to keep the cost down as well. Not only if you're doing this on a small scale, but if you're going to be doing hundreds of linear feet of trellising, the linear foot cost is important to keep that down. The trellis is pretty simple, and the main thing with the trellis are these T-posts. And I love T-posts because you can get them pretty much anywhere. They're relatively inexpensive. They last forever-ish, and you can use them on a variety of different projects and things around the farm. So again, with the mobile concept there, I like to be able to move things around, and things have multiple purposes is even better. So I have the 7-foot T-posts here. These are 1 1/4 inch PVC T's. You just get these in the plumbing section of any store, really. This is 1/2 inch electrical conduit, and these are spaced out about every 10 feet. The reason why I chose 10 feet is because the electrical conduit's 10 feet, and we have 50-foot beds, so we need 6 posts for one of our beds. So I'm gonna get in. I have another set of cucumbers which I just transplanted here, and I'm just gonna set up the structure and show you guys how that works. Got everything laid out here. So we have 50-foot beds here, so we will need 6 T-posts, 6 T's, 5 pieces of conduit, and then 4 of these little connector guys. These are 1/2 inch electrical conduit couplers or couplings. Find them in electrical aisle just next to near the conduit. So the first one, and so before I start pounding these in the ground, I always use a tape measure. I have a 100-foot tape measure. I use this for all sorts of stuff. Get one of those if you don't already have one. I use it for when I'm transplanting, measure things out. It was super cheap. I use it all the time. It just allows you to be consistent and get things really even looking and nice. So the first one, I'm just going to space it in just a little bit, and the reason for that is at the end you just need a little bit of the conduit sticking out, because if it was exactly 10 feet there wouldn't really be any overlap there. So we're going to pound this in the ground, and if you guys don't have one of these things, I highly recommend them. I think I bought this at Tractor Supply. It was like 25 or 30 bucks. I don't know how you get one of these T-posts in the ground with a hammer. I've tried it before. It's just impossible. It just makes quick work of it. And as I said, like once you have a bunch of T-posts on your farm and you start thinking about ways you can use them, you'll keep thinking of other ways you can use them. So pick up one of these guys. So we'll just pound these in the ground first. Let's get that out of the way. Got the T-posts in. Pretty straightforward. Next thing is we're gonna put the T's on, which I already did down there, but these are just 1 1/4 inch PVC T's, and from the plumbing section. You'll need 6 of these for a 50-foot bed, but basically just 1 per post, and they just sit on top. Nothing special there. And then we take our conduit, which is 1/2 inch electrical conduit, which is galvanized, so it'll last a while. And we just lay it in top. Now the first one's a little awkward because you have to start tying them together, but that's how you get started. Now we have to attach the piece of electrical conduit together. The reason why I like this trellising setup, it's just so simple and easy to put together, easy to take apart, easy to get the parts and get them pretty much anywhere. But we're taking these electrical connectors here. They have a screw on each side, and make sure you get the right size. These are 1/2 inch for the 1/2 inch pipe. The way that I found to be the easiest here is just put it on one side first. Just screwing in the screw. All right, and then you can attach the other one. Now, I've tried it the other way where you're trying to attach both in the air and it just seems to be all over the place. So yeah, we'll just do this and we'll just, now we'll attach the other side here and we'll just go down the line and connect all the pieces. Seriously, that took like 5 minutes. As you can see why I like this so much, there's literally no cutting, there's no tying tension wires, it's super simple. Just slap it together. These are all parts. I didn't even have to cut any wood or, you know, use any screws, well, besides the ones in the little connectors. But I mean, super simple, guys. Probably took longer for me to set up the camera and gather the materials than to actually put it together. But on the right here, we're doing cucumbers, and we're doing these two, if you're curious, they're a month apart for a succession for us this summer. So the other thing I want to talk to you about this sort of style is, you know, how we set this up. And here, let me grab this cucumber plant right here. So at the base, I just have a piece of bamboo shoved in the ground. It is a 2-foot piece of bamboo shoved into the ground. That's it. And then I just tie a knot right below one of the little round parts of the bamboo, and then I just string it up to the top and tie a knot. There are millions of ways to do your trellising for different plants, but also just different styles of trellising. So I don't use any clips at all. I just keep it really simple. Tie it to a piece of bamboo, tie it to the top, and then as the plant starts to grow, you just you know, wrap the plant around and train it. So that's how I do cucumbers and also how I do tomatoes. So I wanted to start by showing you an outdoor trellis system because not everyone has a high tunnel or greenhouse, something like that. So what I did in here, I had to change things around quite a bit from last year. So there's some wires in here that I'm not using. But in the middle, I just use the top ridge pole and just wrap the twine around it. And then down to the bottom, you can see same idea with the piece of bamboo. Now, I did have another one up here, but on the sides, I literally have a wire, which I don't remember the gauge, but I got it at Home Depot. It came in 100-foot length, and I used one piece to do 2 lengths here. And then I just have a pretty large self-tapping screw and a fender washer here, and it comes in. I just wrapped it around and go down to the next one. And then same idea here, string down to the bamboo. So in the middle here, I'm just using this center ridge pole, but you could use any of these things. You could even put, you know, stakes or anything in the ground if you wanted to, but it comes out pretty easy. It's pretty simple. Again, with the tomatoes, with the trellising, I am not doing any clips or anything like that. I just tie it to the bamboo like the cucumber, and then I just wrap it around and train it. And then as I come here, prune, I just keep wrapping it around. That's how I set up the main trellis systems for our production part of the farm, but you can pretty easily see it's cheap, it's easy, it's super quick to put together, it's portable and flexible. So, you know, in a market garden where you're turning over beds pretty frequently, maybe less so with cucumbers and tomatoes, but you could get 2 successions in there in a year. You can easily remove them, store them. You know, just sort of fits all the things that I like to have on the farm for infrastructure that I buy and use. The other thing is I'm going to show you a couple other trellising methods here that I'm trying out this year for the first time. And we have a little bit of our garden here that's just for us, which is kind of cool. We didn't get to do that last year because we didn't have enough space. Now we have a little bit extra space, so we're dedicating a little bit of space for our personal garden. So we have some determinate tomatoes over here. Those are all indeterminate tomatoes in there. And we have some peppers as well. We have some bell peppers and some hot peppers. So let me show you what's going on with these. All right, starting off over here, we have 6-foot T-posts. I bought the 6-footers because I didn't need as much height for this, and they're a little bit cheaper. But you could just get all 7s, and then you don't have to think about it. So what we got going here, the peppers, which I just mentioned, and this is called the Florida Weave, is this style. And it's a pretty simple style. I probably need another, either another wooden stake or 2 in here, or another T-post or 2. But so far this has been okay. If they get heavier, I might have to add some more support. But basically I just use the twine, and I just have 1 row right now on the peppers because they're small, but can you see how it goes on either side of the plant? So you just start at one end, and then you weave the twine back and forth all the way across, so making sure you're going on either side of the plant. It holds them up really well. So this will be really good for peppers, determinate tomatoes, eggplants, probably some other stuff too that you want to trellis and give support to. But so far it's been working out great. Let me get out the twine and show you how to do this. So let's talk about the setup here for the Florida weave. I have this twine which I'm using for all the trellising. I bought this box from Johnny's, this tomato twine. You can get it from a lot of places. I just ordered some from there last year because I was ordering a bunch of other stuff. There's like a gajillion feet in here, so it'll last you years unless you're doing a lot of farming or gardening. If you look online, there's a lot of guys doing this method, which is super cool. There's these slots in the back, so you can actually strap this box onto your belt if you have a lot to do, and then use a piece of PVC pipe where the twine is going through, and then you just hold it tight and sort of, you know, work it back and forth across the weave. Now, I think it's a skill that you need to learn after a little bit of practice. I don't do this that often, so I'll just do it by hand. But I just, you know, I wanted to show you that that's a really cool method if you have a bunch of it to do. It really saves your back from leaning over. You know, if gardening or farming, you're always leaning over and to the ground. So anything you can do to help protect your body a little bit, big fan of. All right, you're just going back and forth and back and forth. And just look at the one below it and just do the opposite of the one below it. Now in the middle section here, or anytime you get to a post, you want to make sure it's nice and tight because that's what's going to hold them up straight. If it's not tight, as the plants lean on it, you know, they'll start to sag over. So wrap around a couple times. And there you go, just go on to the next section here. Pretty simple. Come back the other direction now. You went to the end, wrapped around the post a couple times, come back the other way. I just do this as the plants grow. Again, you get to the middle, make sure you pull it really tight. Wrap around a couple times. Keep going. Just every other way. One last little system to show you guys. This is again part of the personal garden here. We have some snap peas, and I was pretty bad about these and didn't thin them, so they're a little overcrowded. But what I have here are just 2 T-posts, and I just have some twine going back and forth, and I put this trellis in a little bit late, so they're getting a little bit of a late start on the trellis, but you can see they're grabbing on and they're going upwards. So the other option here is to get some trellis netting, which is pretty inexpensive, and that might be a really good route, really quick way to set this up as well, but seems to be working. Really simple, cheap. Do a whole separate video about pruning tomatoes and cucumbers, so we'll do that eventually, but just not in this video. One more thing I want to point out is I didn't attach the conduit anyway. It's just sort of held in place, and once you tie the strings or the twine down to the ground, it really holds it in place. There's not really any reason to tie it together. Anyways, guys, hope this was helpful. I just want to give you a super simple way of building trellises pretty much anywhere. This could be for raised beds, market gardening, just a small patio garden, wherever you guys are setting this up. So super simple, cheap, easy to set up. As I said, hope you like this. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you find out more videos that I'm going to be making. Lots to share with you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. The first one's a little tricky because we have to connect to the next one, but we'll do that.